What is UMCAT in full?
UMCAT stands for United Media Consultants and Trainers.
United Media Consultants
And Trainers.
and Trainers.
Yes.
So you are a group of trainers that came together to form UMCAT.
That is the ideal, but largely I am the main man.
Okay.
And we started with a two-pronged approach. One, doing media consultancy, and providing media consultancy, and then also providing media training. So we had the consultancy unit running, which was doing quite a lot of media consultants work, doing feasibility studies and all those kinds of things. Then we had also the media training department, which eventually evolved into UMCAT School of Journalism and Mass Communication, that we talk so much about today.
Okay, so many of us know the School of Journalism, not the consultancy firm. Maybe those that take the services know it. So when do you join the industry as a practitioner? When do you join the media personally?
I joined the media in 1996, fully as an employee. But by 95, I was already practicing because I was still a student at Makerere University. I did mass communication. So as it were, as a norm then, by second year we used to write articles with a weekly topic. We would write articles with a new vision, and so I was already practicing even before I completed. Then when we completed in 96 and graduated, I now came in and joined full blast media practice. I started as first, of course, as usual, as an intern with a new vision. Then I did internships also with a weekly topic. And I did even internship with Radio Uganda then, and UTV. Then after that, when I now graduated, I got my first job.
Where was that?
I began a newspaper called the Uganda Express.
Your own?
No, it was for a businessman called Chapa Karuhanga. So he invited us, and he called on me to lead the team. And so we began that newspaper, the Uganda Express, and put it in the market. And after some time, I left. I got an appointment, fortunately, with government in the means of information and broadcasting. So I joined government in the Department of Uganda News Agency then, which UNA, which eventually got dissolved, and we were all together brought together into Uganda, Radio Uganda and UTV. So I was in that capacity as a news editor in in Radio Uganda up to 2006 when I left, and from then on I took on to training.
Of course, I'll ask, why did you leave? Because they were not closing, they were only metamorphosing Radio Uganda and UTV into UBC. Why did you leave? Did you fear the change that came with it?
No, I was asked to stay because I was still a young person. By the time changes were coming, Radio Uganda and UTV were now being fused together into Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, yes, which is which we have right now. But at that time, actually, I had started on the sites training. UMCAT was already running while I was working in here. So when this opportunity came, I said, now I've gained sufficient knowledge in this area. Let me go and concentrate in the training. And I did the training, but also at the same time joined politics. Okay. Yes, so I was pushing those two agendas concurrently. I joined politics. I even stood as for position of MP in Ngora, my Ngora district, but though I lost. But eventually I became the chairman of the NRM in that district. So I was running that concurrently with the training component of UMCAT.
Okay.
Up to today.
So today you kept in the media to a level of now a trainer and a consultant. So you're the best person one would ask, how would you describe the media industry in Uganda from where it has been up to now what would be your conclusive description of the industry?
We now have a new ecosystem in the media in Uganda, just like it is globally. Uganda is coping up. You know, during our time, we relied largely on the traditional media, the press, the print media, newspapers. We had the broadcasting, which was radio and TV, and those were the main definition of the only definition of media today. So that newspapers came with place. You get it? And radio and TV, of course, occupied the space. But the dynamics today are fairly different from then. The digital media has taken over. The internet is now taking over. And as we talk now, the traditional media is fading out. So today, there's a completely new ecosystem in the media that digital media has come, and that is what we must now adjust ourselves to. The different media platforms. Today, everything is on Facebook, everything is on Instagram, TikTok, and all those kinds of things.
We have a lot of complaints today in the industry when it comes to issue of employment. In the practice, when you meet journalists, they will tell you about how they're poorly paid. Many of them are working without contracts. Many of them have been freelancers for so many years, and the media houses do not appreciate to take them on as staff and things like that. What was it like during your days? Because you were in print, radio, and television. Give us a picture.
Yeah, during our time, first of all, the media outlets were also few. Because I remember we had only Radio Uganda, we had Uganda Television, and then on the print area we had the New Vision, and then the weekly topic then, and then the Monitor. So the absorption, or the outlets where would be joining were few. But also what was an advantage then, were also few who were taking the line of journalism. Mass communication, I think at the time was the only, and UMI were the only institutions that were producing journalists. So when it came to going for internships and so on, it was also easy for us. Because Makerere was churning out just about 20 of us every year. And UMI was also churning out quite a few. And even then, UMI was taking largely those who were already employed in the media. So they were just going in for kind of upgrades and refresher training and so on. So in a sense, it was a little bit easier for us. But of course today, things have changed. As I've told you, the new ecosystem has changed. We now have a plethora of so many media training institutions that are also churning out journalists. And
each one is releasing like 100 and more every year.
Releasing 100 and more every year. And yet, on the other side, we are kind of still pushing the dual system. We are still pushing the traditional media as well as the new digital media that is moving on. And yet now, the mental construct of many of our people is for you to get a job, you must go to the traditional media, which is actually, in my view, is creating the impasse that you're talking about, that the jobs are limited. But for me, I think all that we need now to do is, as trainers largely, is to open up the minds of our young people.
How? How do you open up the minds of the trainees about the digital, the digital line that the industry has taken?
We must now take advantage of the new age media, the digital media, the different media platforms, because those different media platforms are employment opportunities themselves. That today, unlike in the past, where if you wanted to do broadcasting, you'd have to look for UTV. Yes. and go there and look for one camera to go and capture an image that you'd broadcast again through UTV. Today, the opportunities are so many. Today, we are talking about software. People are developing all kinds of platforms for communication. Yes. And all we need to teach our children today, our young people, that get more knowledge in the area of digital communication. You can develop your own platform for communication. And all that you need to do is to brand yourself, package yourself, go into a specialized area. There's so much to talk about today that once you concentrate on that and make sure you become a brand in that, you assemble a unique brand of knowledge in that area through research and so on. And actually, I want to tell you, today, research has become more important than before.
Because of these platforms that have come up?
Because of these platforms that have come in place. Because people now are looking for what is new that you're having. And everybody is turning towards that. And why is it so? Because the media has evolved drastically.
So the competition that comes with these platforms push the practitioners who are working on the platforms to do research, exactly, to appear unique.
Precisely. Okay. Because there are two dimensions. There is a drastic change in the information ecosystem, as well as at the same time, technology, new technology has come in and is changing every other day. So as technology changes and even the information ecosystem is changing in terms of what is new today, and what is new is also changing according to technology, it now puts you, who has taken that line of journalism, that for me, I am now in media and so on, into a task to constantly work to satisfy the emerging needs. And you cannot do that if you don't invest so much on research.
You'll just look like the rest.
You'll look like the rest. So stand out to be unique. The question now is, what makes you tick that should attract me to you? Because there are so many. I'll keep on clicking here, plucking on the other, and so on and so on. And I am looking at what is that which can keep me on.
When you look at the mainstream, how has it been affected by the incoming of these other different platforms?
Oh, it has been greatly affected. Greatly affected. Especially in the area of...
as a consultant?
Yes. Especially in the area of journalism and news. Today, news is instant. You know, while UTV has heard that there is an accident that has happened on Ginger Road in Mabira, yes, UTV is sending, is assembling a team of reporters and a cameraman to drive over there. There is already somebody who is there with a new technology, with a telephone, a smartphone, who has already taken the picture and so on, and has already posted through the social media platforms. And by the time you're reaching there, it has already spread all over.
That is what I exactly wanted. You, the trainers, tell us of professional packaging of information to the audience. Don't show this. The face of a dead body should be blurred. All this sum of information, don't just say things anyhow. You must edit your content. And how has the new digital era affected the mainstream when it brings raw information and spreads it? The very example you have given of an accident on the road. By the time mainstream media houses send reporters to a scene, the video is in Gulu, it is in Kabare, it is in Iganga already in just 5 minutes. And it has all sorts of pictures, all sorts of narrations and things like that. So, how has that affected the audience, positive or negative? And does the mainstream still stand better than the digital platforms, or these guys are better?
Of course, Jordan, there is a challenge now there.
These people have no editor.
Yeah, they have no editor.
They don't filter anything.
Oh, yes. And they put what has happened as it is. And that, of course, has its own challenges. The ethical issues are so much because you have not considered the impact of that picture of a woman who has been crushed on another woman, on a child somewhere, on a maybe a family of that woman, and so on. So today there is a lot of horror in our communications, and that is a big challenge. And now it is what is challenging us, the trainers, as well, because digital media has come to stay. And today everybody is, out of the 45 million Ugandans now, you can actually say more than 10 million of them
are journalists of their own making.
Yes, journalists of their own making, and they are carrying smartphones. Yes. Phones. They can access information and publish it anywhere, at any time, which you cannot be able to control. So what we do now is we are trying to create a breed of journalists that emphasize responsibility, accountability, and ethics. And in our view, that should be the group that we should be able to use as an army to educate the others and to create responsibility. That one, we are free to communicate. Freedom of information is there, but then we should be responsible. We should emphasize that responsibility. And our call is that this responsibility, education for responsibility, accountability, and ethics should now be cutting across every domain of our sector.
How are we going to pass that information over to someone, I don't want to use a villager, or to a local, a native down in Lugazi who has his smartphone and he has witnessed a staggering trailer that is going to collapse? How are you going to pass that information of ethics and things like that to such a man?
The good news now is that the digital platforms have also created that opportunity. When I train Jordan, I train Michael, I train Peter, and teach them that please take the opportunities that has been provided by the digital media. Learn what news is. Learn what correct information is. Learn how to package it. Learn how to disseminate it. And become agents. Go create your own platforms. Today in the villages, they're there. People are on social media everywhere. People have now online radios and TVs that they are marketing, and they are doing a lot of work. And people are listening today to them. And let that become one of the pertinent messages in your communication trail. And slowly, one by one, when I convert Jordan may be also be able to convert another 10 and touch others and touch others. That is one of the approaches that we are using. But also we are saying that let's now emphasize a data-driven kind of communication. Let's based on evidence-based approaches. And that still goes into doing more research. That if there was a story that was carried out, Mr. X took a picture of an old woman who was terribly damaged in an accident and went on displaying everywhere. We trailed that. What was the impact of that picture on the grandchild of that old woman? What was the impact of that picture on the son and the daughter of that old woman? And we take interest in the outcomes of that impact. And we profile that, we develop that, and constitute a very significant data on the negative effects of that. And we put it there. As it's displayed, I am sure Mr. Z somewhere will see that, and it should be able to inform him that, hey, the next time you're doing whatever you're doing using your smartphone, please be careful of this because there is this impact. So it is calling for a dynamic ecosystem of communication that we must now adopt, not only with the trainers, but even those who are outside. But ours as trainers is to bring out what we would call, the NRM government calls it cadres. So the idea of cadreship must go even in the training institutions now. A cadre is that agent you have built to promote a specific agenda. And this agenda that we are taking as media practitioners, as trainers, as well as those who are already in the practice of journalism and media, is ethics must be upheld. Responsible communication, the message that you have compiled, have you looked at it and looked at the implication? What are the positive implications? What are the negative implications of it before you send it out? Of course, there is a challenge that, as you said, many of our people are still rural.
True.
But we, allow me to mention, we as UMCAT, School of Journalism and Mass Communication, we have gone into rural settings as well. That's why we have our centers in Soroti, Mbale, and all the other areas. And the intention is we want to go nearer to these people so that we can beckon onto them, those who are interested in journalism, that please, you don't have to go to Kampala, please come here, we are here. And that is where we get them and begin grooming.
Some countries have taken steps of putting up stringent guidelines on whoever is using these platforms. Do you see Uganda taking that direction?
Uganda?
Other people look at it as gagging, but some countries to score the goal of ethics, ensuring that these people are ethically doing whatever they do, they have put up some stringent measures that guide and ensure, streamline how they do their work. Do you see Uganda going that direction?
Certainly, and it's necessary. It is necessary. But it's because our systems are still evolving. And there are a lot of challenges still that come along with it in terms of technology, because the technology to do that is also still very expensive, which many developing countries like Uganda are not yet able to afford. But eventually we have to go there, where we're able to monitor every phone and also bring to book the source.
Whoever abuses.
Yes, wherever the source of abuse of communication is coming from. I think we are moving there because the means of ICT, I think, is working very hard to see that we go there. But it's necessary, very, very important. Right now, we have not yet reached there. So we still have the challenge. And it's why with us we're saying, let's first pursue both approaches. While government is pursuing the other approach of devising a technology to counter abuse in these platforms, let us also now be reaching the mind. Let's use the software approach. Teach them, educate them, sensitize them, and make them responsible citizens.